So also thank you to Wendy Yost, who picked up chapters 3 and 4 for us last week. She stepped in while I was in Florida, and it was fantastic. Yes, so we're jumping in today with chapter 5, which is the impact of intentional action. So yes, you can do amazing things, and you do it with intentional action. The idea here is to claim your power and your wholeness, and you do that when you take conscious, intentional action. So Thomas Jefferson said, "Do you want to know who you are? Don't ask, act. Action will define you." It's the actions that we take every day. It's every habit, conscious or unconscious, that then creates our day. And that creates a week, which creates a month, which creates a lifetime. It's all those little habits, conscious or not conscious. So the important question that I like to ask every once in a while is, what do my habits say about me? What am I doing every day that is reflecting back to me what's important to me? Because I can say I want to build a business or I want to exercise. But then when I track my day, and now your phones will do that for you, everyone. Do you know that? Yeah. So you can look at your phone at the end of the day and it's like an hour and a half on social media. What? But it was only 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there and 5 minutes here. But at the end of the day, oh, but I couldn't exercise? Guess what, everyone? I could have exercised. So it's about tracking our days with these little habits where we spend our time and seeing, is it matching what I'm saying I want to build or grow or do? It's important that we start really looking at and being mindful of these habits that build our day because they build our life. So we're on autopilot all the time, aren't we? We're just going, going, going. So this is our invitation to stop and slow down and reflect and be mindful of, where am I spending my time? So really taking, I would say a week, but probably after the first day or two, you'll probably get a pretty clear idea of where am I spending my time. And I'm not necessarily saying I went shopping, but you'll put that down maybe on your journal, right? I went shopping from 9 to 10. I'm more so talking about now it's noon, what did I just do for the last 2 hours? Right? Has anyone else, is that just me that's been there? Oh, okay, good. I'm like, that's just me. Oh. Yeah, when all of a sudden 2 hours have gone by and you're like, what have I done? That's what I want you to start being mindful about. That's the time I want you to start tracking or looking at your phone that's tracked it for you. Right? So the habits that we have, we want them to match the life we want to build. So when you ask yourself, what do I want my habits to say about me? We want them to match the goal. Right? If I have this goal, this dream, this is what I want to manifest over here, then my daily habits need to reflect that. So in the book, they call this to unpractice. Unpractice. They say unpracticing is discontinuing unhelpful, unfulfilling habits. Suggestions are like consuming adult beverages or watching the news right before bedtime. Notice how you feel when you don't rely on that habit. So if the habit is not a match for the life that you want to experience, then we intentionally replace it with another more life-enhancing habit. And they call that the zoom in. So you start to be mindful, you start to track, you start to journal. Where is my time? Because that's going to be a reflection of my life, my goals, what's important. Okay, I want to unpractice this. Now I'm going to zoom in, which means I'm going to practice wholehearted, single-minded living in something that gives me enthusiasm, passion, desire, motivation. So recently because I looked at my phone, and it was that hour and a half of social media, in which I was like, what? But I'm not sitting there for a whole hour and a half straight. So then I thought, and especially at nighttime. So I thought, I'm going to replace it with learning Spanish again. So do you all know the Duolingo app? Yeah, I'm getting 5 stars every time, everybody. I'm so proud of myself. And some of the examples are Juan, which is my husband, right? So, then I get to look over at him and say, well, I'm not even going to practice on you all right now. But Tom's like, come on. I'm too shy right now, but I will. I will. Because I'm doing this. This is what I know, shy. Just in my Spanish speaking, I'm shy. So, and then we also, when I was in Florida last week, we are at their downtown Disney, which is Disney Springs. It's all these shops, and there was this very adorable shop, but it had these needlepoint artwork, and it was quotes, and it was the sweetest quotes, all in needlepoint, and I thought, I want to do that. I want to do that. That's something I think that would be so fun to give as gifts and also to have in my home, and so that's my next thing. How can I replace something that's not a healthy habit, scrolling social media at night, which we've decided a couple weeks ago is just like the old, looking at, what are those ads, right, that you used to watch at night? Yeah, the infomercials. Right. Remember infomercials? Well, now we just realize that just, scrolling Facebook or Instagram at night is the same thing. Because suddenly I've bought shoes, I bought new makeup, I bought all this stuff, right? Replacing it with Spanish or needlework, much better habit, right? Is that more life-affirming? Yes. Thank you for supporting me in that. So the idea here is to be conscious, to unpractice and zoom in, to focus your time on what fulfills you versus just being unconscious as you go through your day. But to really unpractice and zoom in on what will fulfill me. Now, of course, I want to add here that rest, though, is important. We are so used to going, doing, filling every moment of our time. But taking a break, taking intentional breaks, is really what living a full and productive life is about. Okay, hear that, especially my greatest generation folks. It's okay to rest, especially my moms, grandmoms, right? It's okay to rest. It actually allows you to move forward in your goals and your life purpose, which ultimately is to shine your light. But you can't shine your light if it's dim because you're exhausted. So rest and taking a break is so important. I follow this Instagram account. Okay. But this one's really great. It's called the Nap Ministry. Here's what they say. They say, rest will simply make us more human. Isn't that the truth? I mean, we see that with toddlers, right? They just need a rest. There's a term for hangry, right? Hungry and angry, tired. But once you get the food and the rest, you're not hangry anymore. Yeah, rest is part of a spiritual practice. So rest, and even watching TV or scrolling on your phone is not necessarily an issue. But the issue is when we've done more scrolling of TV versus meeting our goal. We've done more, watching TV or YouTube videos or whatever we're doing instead of the goal we say we want to obtain. So that's where it's time to kind of look at that. But as far as taking a break and how important it is to rest, they actually in this book have lots of ideas of spiritual practices, literally from A to Z. And I know last week Wendy in her meditation did an alphabet meditation, which is a great idea as well. So they also have wonderful, again, all the way from A to Z, different spiritual practices. The first, of course, being affirmations. And I wanted to share one because I really liked this one here. There's a couple. But this one in particular. Divine love is my true nature. Therefore, I can live in harmony with my life and with all of life. Doesn't that feel good? And I even changed it a little bit. I said, divine love is my true nature. Therefore, I can live in harmony with myself and all of life. So just taking a break to take 15 minutes just to sit with affirmations. Or E in the alphabet was to eat mindfully. Again, So often we sit down and we're watching TV or looking at our phone, or TV's going, radio's going, something, right? Reading the news. But instead to eat mindfully. Now, some of you know my first career as a registered dietitian. So I'm also speaking from this, right? It's important that we take a breath before we eat, that we put away all the phones and the TV and the radio and the whatnot, that we really observe the plate. Look at the different textures, the different colors. Really taste the food. A lot of times we're shoving the food down, right? But really tasting the food, appreciating how did it get to your plate. Eating mindfully can be that 15 minutes of rest that we need. It can be a meditation in itself. F in their alphabet was forgiveness. Taking 15 minutes to really journal, and they have 3 great questions that I've been working with now this week. So around the idea of forgiveness, can I let this feeling go? Will I let this feeling go? When will I be ready to let this feeling go? That one's hard. But what a great journaling practice. Can I let this feeling go? Will I let this feeling go? When will I be ready to let this feeling go? Forgiveness work. J, because I thought, well, what's J? J is japa meditation, which is Hinduism, the Sanskrit for mantra, or they say the thought behind sound. Ooh, the thought behind sound. So that's what we did in our meditation today. You could take just one affirmation and make it your mantra, or you could take 2 or 3 or 5 and make it your mantra for your meditation time. Or this morning, because I was reading, what was the one? Hold on. Because then I had a song. Oh, Be Still and Know. So it's a song. It's your song. It's Sherry and Rick's song. And so after I was kind of going through that this morning, it would not leave me, the song, Be Still and Know. And I thought, I can walk around in a meditation. Be still and know, and just have that song in my head. Or you could just sit. I thought one day I'm just going to sit, take a couple breaths, be still and know. And then you can all go to our YouTube page. I'll let you go there. Go to our YouTube account, and I'm sure it's there. It's there. Be still and know, and just let the song sing you. And P was prayer, because she says, you know, when we get confused, that's the time to turn to heart space and affirm our 12 spiritual powers, or our 12 spiritual abilities. But prayer begins, she says, with receptivity and open-hearted willingness to go into 15 minutes of a break, and say, okay, I'm going to open my heart and be willing and receptive in this prayerful moment. Because sometimes Spirit speaks to us and we go, no, I don't want to hear that. But to remind ourselves to have the open-hearted willingness. And then Q, I had to look up Q because I thought, what kind of spiritual practice could start with Q? Quest. And they say another pathway to healing, instead of attempting to escape from swirling emotions, is to dive into them. So the quest is to dive into swirling emotions, and that really gets us to chapter 6, which is embrace your whole life. Because the next part of intentional action is to bring all of your feelings and emotions in, to really look at your past and how it brings you to your present. So when you've committed to intentional action, then you've activated your spiritual powers, your spiritual abilities, and that allows you to see yourself more clearly. And then you're more aware of that intuition and that wisdom, the internal spiritual guidance system that is guiding you. So here on our first slide, I love this quote, that by honoring your past, your feelings, your needs, and your ability to wait, you become better able to honor your wholeness and to embrace your whole life. So let's dive into each one of those. Honoring your past. maybe you've been holding on to a memory or a belief that's been weighing you down and preventing you from living your fullest life. A lot of times we get these beliefs in childhood, right? Like money isn't easy to come by. Are you still holding on to that one? Why can't I get my business off the ground? Oh, because I still have this old belief. So looking at what are some old memories or old belief systems that are weighing me down? Because if the same thought comes up, it's there to be healed. If that same thought keeps coming up, it's there to be healed. We can reflect and see how past experiences have shaped us and brought us to our present experience, and allow that to be a healing. So it's important that we honor our memories and impressions of the past, and we can use them to grow. So when I was in Florida visiting our older son, Julian, who just moved to Orlando, as mom, of course, it was fun to share a lot of memories of his childhood with his girlfriend, because that's fun to embarrass, right? And it was really interesting because as I told the story, now Julian as an adult, he's about to be 23, as an adult, he was hearing it a different way. And he got to tell how his child self at the time, what that memory or experience was, but now realizing as an adult, as we told this story again, oh, it makes sense why you said that or did that or why that happened. But sometimes we don't do that process. Sometimes we're 10 and we hold on to this memory and we make it mean something, and we never as an adult come back to it and make it mean something else. Because they can weigh us down. So that's the next step, is to honor our feelings. Because what meaning are we making of our feelings? In the book, she says, you can either become imprisoned or liberated by your meaning making. Or maybe you're suppressing the feelings. Maybe when feelings come up, you're suppressing them because you think they're bad. Right? There's been generations now where we've all been taught, that feelings are bad. What's the British? We were just watching the coronation. Stiff upper lip, I was going to say, or the keep on going, basically, right? The keep calm and carry on. There you go. Keep calm and carry on. Stiff upper lip. What if instead, and I know in Unity too, right? Because we want to be positive all the time. But here it is to say, it's okay not to be positive all the time. It's okay to feel the feelings. In fact, it's so important that we don't suppress the feelings, because when we suppress the feelings, it has a physical effect on our body. And it's exhausting to keep trying to suppress the feelings. It's much easier, and life flows much easier when we let it all come out. Sometimes we just need that emotional vomit. And then we just honor it. We honor it for what it is. Because then, don't you feel so much lighter and free when it's all out? Yes. So really looking our feelings in the eye and getting curious. And I understand that if you've had a trauma in your life, then that's when we need to go get professional support in that as well. Because there may be some situations where looking those feelings and bringing up those past feelings may be really big and hard. And so we need, I'm all for mental health support. So we need to get that support sometimes. But we can also journal, talk to a friend, and really get honest about what's going on deep within me. Because once I can really find out what's going on deep within me, I can heal and then move forward. So the important piece here is that feelings are messengers. They're revealing what's important to you. They're revealing what wants attention in your life. And what wants attention in your life, again, is there as an offering to be healed. So each day is a blank canvas. So how do you want to feel? Because remember, we create with that strong feeling and the vision. So what do we want to create? Stephen Hawking has a great quote. He once said, "My advice to other disabled people would be, don't be disabled in spirit as well as physically." So what label are you giving yourself? Victim, martyr, or I'm strong, I'm open, I'm willing? That's why it was so important we do that white stone ceremony at the beginning of the year, where we claim a new spiritual attribute or name for ourselves, because it's, here's where I'm going to step into the year. Here's my intention for the year. This is how I want to create my year. We can do that every day. As I wake up, what do I want to create, and what's the feeling behind that creation? So that's what I bring forth. The next one is to honor your needs. You know what? We say yes so often when we mean no. You want to go to dinner? Yes. No. You want to volunteer for this? Yes. No. I'm here to say it's okay to say no. It's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to cancel plans. You can even blame it on me. My minister said. It's okay to engage in exquisite self-care. That doesn't mean that you buy your way to well-being. I mean, I'm all for spa treatments and a new outfit. But we also don't want to go broke on our way to self-care. And really, self-care is about being quiet and listening to ourselves. It's about practicing healthy boundaries. I know some of you have said, "Stacy, I thought I wanted to volunteer for that, but I've decided I have too much on my plate. I'm really sorry. You're going to be really upset with me." And I'm like, no, thank you so much. Yay. I want to celebrate that with you, because that to me says you're practicing healthy boundaries. Yeah. Ultimately, it's about living authentically. What do you want for yourself? I mean, this can get as simple as going out to dinner, right? Someone says, "Where do you want to go to dinner?" And you go, "Oh, I don't care." But you're thinking, "I want Mexican food." But you say, "Oh, I don't care, you choose." Okay, they choose Japanese. And now you're upset that you're getting sushi instead of an enchilada. What do you want for yourself? Even more deeply than that, what validates your true self? Does this validate my true self? Because honoring your needs with practices that nourish and stir your soul should happen with very little effort. Honoring your needs with practices that nourish and stir your soul with little effort. Because honoring your needs means taking good care of yourself. So lastly, in our quest to embrace our whole life is to honor your ability to wait. I had to wait a couple months to see Julian. And now I'm going to have to wait a few more months to see Julian again because he's in Florida. But you know what I noticed? I really noticed that when I was there, I was so present. The wait actually allowed me to, when I was there, be so present, to enjoy each moment, each time of connection. That ability to wait usually means that we have to sit in uncomfortable feelings. And Robert Brummett, the author, in one of his books says, he calls this the void. So he says, we really begin with the ending. There's an ending. Then there's the void, that unknown, uncomfortable time. And then there's a beginning. Again, but we're taught in our culture to just go, do, get hungry, go after it, fill in the time. But sometimes we can learn so much in the waiting, in the great unknown. We discover our strengths. We discover our gifts. In the waiting is where we find meaning in what we're waiting for. And I love this quote. It's here on the screen. It's by Joyce Mercer. I think because I wasn't a patient child. So she wrote, patience is not simply in the ability to wait, it's how we behave while we're waiting. So I just watched the coronation of King Charles III. Some of you know I love the royals. 70 years, everybody, he was waiting to be king. 70 years. I mean, literally when he was born with one purpose, be king. He had to wait over 70 years. Now, traditionally that role was just about waiting around. But actually, in those 70 years, what did he do? He built trusts. He built organizations and foundations that support his love of the environment and organic farming. He took the waiting and he created something with it. I know in the past, as a church, we've waited. For some of us, it was more comfortable than others, right? But it was uncomfortable for all of us. We waited for a new minister, or it turned out ministry team. We waited for a new church home. I mean, that almost started as soon as we moved into the Masons. We waited for 10 years to get here, right? We were waiting for that new church home. We've waited for new board members to arrive. I have a note here. I think that's just me, though. There's been times. But it's during the wait that if we focus on our behavior and what's going on in the waiting, we can get ready. Remember we had the Clean Your House Club? Yeah, I did that so we sent a message to the universe. We're ready to get out of here. We're cleaning up, we're packing up, we're getting ready to go. And guess what happened? We got creative during that time. The board at the time, we all met. We said, let's visualize this. Let's really, what do we want? Let's get excited. So during the waiting, we can get ready. We can anticipate. We can use our creativity and our power of imagination. I want to really redecorate my bedroom right now. It's all right here. And it keeps changing, which is great, because there was going to be wallpaper on one wall, and now I've saved myself from ripping it down and putting it on another wall. See how great waiting can be? It's like with my fractured toe now 7 weeks ago. You know, I used that time of waiting to get back to the full workouts by creating workouts I could do without a toe. Waiting is our spiritual ability of self-mastery. We call it here power. It's up here in purple. That spiritual ability of power, but it's really self-mastery. This is when we gain self-confidence and faith. Waiting is not missing out, procrastinating, or settling. It's time to wait for the manifestation of wonderful possibilities. In the book, they say when we are patient, we suspend an exclusively human view of life and we rise in awareness to the state of wholeness. Waiting gives us that opportunity to remember our wholeness. So here is your soul work for the week. I'm giving you a little homework. I usually do this every week, but here it's real formal this week. So this week's soul work, to become aware of your daily habits, to write them down. Again, take at least a couple days or a week to really write down. And what do they say about you? What are they reflecting back to you that's important? Are they helping you with your goals and living the life you want? And then setting intentional actions, replacing old habits with new ones that support your wholeness. Embracing your past. Let it provide you with information for today, honoring your feelings, all of them. They're giving you information to help you move into your wholeness. Honoring your needs. This question of what helps nourish and feed your soul. What helps nourish me and feeds my soul? And then embracing the wait. What am I learning about myself as I wait? What do I really, really, really want? Elizabeth Gilbert, the author, says you got to ask that 3 times. What do I really, really, really want? That's what the waiting is good for. How can I visualize during this time with great joy my dreams and my goals so that I can get prepared to do the job I was born to do? By using intentional action and embracing your whole life, you can as Xavier Dogba writes, let divinity be expressed in new ways through you. That's your invitation this week. Let divinity be expressed in new ways through you. This is how we bless the world. So blessings, everyone. Good luck with your soul work.